Oh, don't do that. Just chill with this shit, OBS. Like, God. Son of a gun.
This is Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 1065.
We are live. Facebook.com/Bluffs Country. Would love to have you join us there. See all the behind the scenes action. Maybe make some new friends. Build a collective, as it were. This name might not be just a name that immediately jumps out at you, Shelley Duvall, but I bet you know what her face looks like. She's a part of one of the most iconic scenes in, I think, all of cinema. And she sadly passed yesterday at the age of 75. I mean, 75, you feel like you made something of yourself at that point, don't you?
Okay. Oh, little pig, let me come in.
That's from The Shining. Shelley Duvall
Not by the hair on your chinny chin chin.
sitting in the bathroom.
And I'll pop. And I'll pop.
Oh, Jack.
And I'll blow your house in.
And the most iconic line, obviously, after he busts down the door, she's sitting there with a knife, ready to take on Jack Nicholson. No, Jack. This was so scary as a little kid, and now it's just like funny to watch. She's such a great actress. It takes a lot longer to chop through this door than I remember it being. And like all things in a Stanley Kubrick movie that are the best, it's an off-the-cuff line that Jack delivers here.
Here's Johnny.
That was like after take 95. He just decided to say whatever the hell he wanted. And it was Here's Johnny. The other one that was a big one when I was a kid was the take on Cyrano de Bergerac that she was in with Steve Martin. She played like his plucky sidekick. In 2016, she said her health took center stage as she appeared on Dr. Phil and said she was mentally ill in an appearance that made headlines for some claims that she made, including that her Popeye co-star Robin Williams was not dead. So the last time we saw her in the public eye, it didn't look like things were going that great. But at 75, gone after much suffering, she's no longer in any pain. Shelley Duvall passed away yesterday.
Every weeknight starting at 7 here on Bluffs Country 1065. We kick open the swinging doors with no cover charge. You can hang out inside our C Social Saloon. Hi there, Rich Cat.
I don't know why that was. Morning, Marsh. Let's see if we can get these comments now. Come on. Like, it's such a small margin to grab the freaking corner of this thing. Come on. That is super annoying. OBS does not do a good job of integrating those things. Now let's see if all these comments. What did you decide the name of your cam group? I think it's going to be the Cam Collective. I think that's what we're going to call it. I like that. It's simple. I like alliteration. Yeah, I think that's what it's going to stay. Now I got to fix this. Son of a gun. Everything changes every day. Here we go. See, I don't want OBS. Stop trying to take over, dude. Oh. It's like the one thing about OBS that I don't like is that if there's a panel and it thinks it's going to dock, it's going to dock. Can we switch the properties of that? None of this matters.
Deals with ESPN, ABC, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video will average $6.9 billion a season. Country Daily Sports Update. Weather!
Warm is the theme weekend with excessive heat on a watch right now. Quite a warning. Humid today, sunshine, patchy clouds, but almost 0% humidity. Or not humidity, but precipitation. The rain ain't coming today. It's not coming tomorrow or Sunday. 101 for the high tomorrow. 102 for Sunday. Still triple digits by Monday, and then the rain pours in by early next week. Currently 71 degrees on our way up to that 91 degree total. Your weather brought to you by the 712 Initiative. They invite you to the Council Bluffs Farmers Market. It happens at Bayless Park, presented by CHI Health and Mercy Council Bluffs. It happens just like last night, every Thursday from 4:30 until 7:30 p.m.
Fewer commercials, more country music. I'll drink to that.
All right, so was it the Cam Collective or something? Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Check. All right. How's the volume? Good? No, there's nothing else you can assist me with. Stop asking. Exit the chat, dude. I exited the chat. You exit the chat. Come on. How do I exit the chat, dude? It's like you try and get a little customer service, and then there's no customer service, and then no, I'm good. Oh, thank you. I got her. Your phone. Just exit the chat, dude. One of you watching on That's Just Nelson. 5 of you watching on Bluffs Country. Nobody on That's Just Nelson on YouTube. Hey, Julie. How are you? Oh, hey, Julie. Oh, you undercover. You one of those middle name undercovers. Oh, okay. Okay, Slick. I see you, Julie. If that is your real name. Lord, what are we going to do with our lives? I realize as I'm texting, you can't see what I'm texting or hear me. God, that's awesome. We need to do that. Maybe we'll do that next week. Or maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll save this for a Thursday We'll go first day of school, last day of school pictures. I was just sharing a senior photo of mine, the only one I still have. The only one we got blown up large. I think my parents have a version of it at their house. Okay, just end the. How many times you gotta? Here's what I like about this though: is the new setup has the new setup I have here now has all of the comments in one place. So if you do happen to go on my fan page or you go to my YouTube channel instead of going to Bluffs Country. What's up, Aaliyah? Tell me if there's any noticeable drop in quality of audio or video today because I'm trying out a new multi-stream program. Well, now as soon as Deborah comments, I'll see it because I have a place that will aggregate all my comments into one spot. I don't think aggregate is the word I'm looking for, but it sounded like it was a smart enough word that I could get away with it. But I'm also not about to like pull the wool over your eyes, you know? Yeah, so I'm really liking having the new. I'm sure she is. Good morning from Nelson. From Nelson number one. You are Nelson number one technically. That is how time works. I was supposed to be born in 81 as well. Okay, so. All right, were you born in 80? Is that what it is? You're born in 80 and I'm 81? Or I should have been 81, but I was the beginning of 82? Because you're a year older than me, yeah? Like a year and 2 months? Yeah. You born tail end 80, me born first end 82. Because I was supposed to be born on mom's birthday. I was supposed to be 12/27. You and my crazy ex-girlfriend have the same birthday, except not the same year. She's younger than us. And I don't say that flippantly. Crazy ex-girlfriend. I'm crazy too. I are also crazy. You know what I mean? Probably more so. The toxicity of our city. Of our city. No, but 44. Wow. How's it feel to be just ancient? Like it's you. It's like Mesopotamia, redwood trees, 44-year-olds. How's that feel? Mesopotamia. Hola, Bradley. Señor Bradley, ¿cómo estás? ¿Está muy bien? Mucho gusto, Bradley. Me llamo Señora Hicks. Because what I can remember how to say in Spanish is, pleased to meet you. My name is Mrs. Hicks, my Spanish teacher.
This is Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 1065.
If you've never had an opportunity to check us out online, man, now's the time to get to facebook.com/bluffscountry. Give us a like. You'll see the Nelson in the Morning feed there. Oh, yeah. I don't know what you're missing out by looking at my mug, but a little bit of extra incentive there in that it's a nice little community. We call it the Camp Collective. Sounds a little robotic. You'll be assimilated, much like the Borg. That's a deep cut for you. It's always interesting to me how just fate works. And that sounds a little broader than it needs to. Okay. This is going to relate more to people who probably grew up in the metro as opposed to people who are maybe in on the outskirts. How many people were in your graduating class? Giving you a second as if I can hear you. You can call 712-713-2065 or get your comments directly onto the Facebook feed. We can read them from there. And so I graduated with 592 people. Okay. I'm from here. I grew up in La Vista. Shout out La Vista. Had to go to Papillion La Vista High School. Should have been La Vista Papillion High School, but whatever. You know what? La Vista rules, Papillion rules. And we take them along with us. You know, rising tide floats all boats. But I went to California last year, right? I'm a single dad, and I didn't do any real dating in California. I've had one serious relationship since I got divorced. Okay. And you get on the apps, right? The apps is where you're finding all these people. Most of us are, I guess. I'll say that. And it's ugly. If you dated before apps and now you're in apps, you're lucky. Just keep them. Keep him around or her. Before you have to go on the dating apps, just, maybe smother him. Okay? That's all right. Don't, not all the way, but, just like lock him up in a corner somewhere and just, it's ugly. But I found it interesting now in the last year, I have matched with two different people that I went to high school with. Like one in my grade level, one graduated a year before me. I've never seen these people a day in my life. In and out of the same hallways constantly. Never seen these people before. Do you still find yourself doing that? Like, I don't know. In high school, it feels like we're all just this small town and like everybody know everybody. They don't know everybody. And I'm a guy on the radio now. I'd like to believe that I'm entertaining. I'm funny. I was weird, like stick out weird. Like, how did he not get beaten up more in high school? Weird, right? So I just assumed everybody knew me. And the interesting thing about that, too, is I go by Nelson's my last name, right? And so I would swear that everyone in high school would have called me by my last name. But then you'll meet people that call you your first name. Like, dude, do we really know each other that well? You think we're on a first name basis? That's Mr. Nelson to you.
We play the best country of the 80s.
It's wild. Like, you just think that, you think you know everybody. It had to be similar for you, Marsh, right? Well, but like, did you you were in West Side the whole time, right? Because Phil didn't go to West Side. Phil and Andrew went to Ralston. 500. See, that's a lot of mother fathers. You know what I mean? That's a lot of mother fathers. Bradley, 500. I was 592. There was like 2,000 people in my high school at any one time. Like I was in the last of like 4 or 5 classes before they expanded a whole other high school. Yeah, so the other person I matched with, I'm talking with her on the phone. Thank God, old school. But I'm talking with her on the phone, and like it's slowly kind of coming up. Oh, she mentioned something about Papillion. I go, are you from here? Like, is this your stomping grounds, or were you a transplant? Because you never know. She's like, well, yeah, I'm from here. I go, like, from here, like it was always Papillion. She goes, yeah. I go, like private school? Like, where'd you go to high school? Papio? Where else would I go to high school? In Papillion, but we're of a similar age. She's got me by like a year and whatever, year and a month. We were in 2 months. You know what? I don't know. I don't know how old she is. I mean, I know how old she is, but I don't know when her birthday is. It's all stuff you got to find out about people. And then do you want to find out? You know what I mean? You got to start asking yourself those questions. It's like, all right, yep. You either want to find out nothing about someone or you got to find out everything, right? Like, what was your imaginary friend's name? Like, oh, Jesus. Can't I just give you a one sheet of the most pertinent information? Just know that I was weird. Nobody talked to me with any meaningful conversations. And here's the 6 strangest things I've ever said to women. right? That's all. That basically wraps me up, defines me. What's your favorite color? Dark blue. Dark blue. Not royal blue, though, just dark blue. Just like Crayola blue, but really, really, really like dark. I don't know why. I'm so glad we had maybe like 200 in mind. Even 200 seems like a lot. But 500, 500 is you're in band and you're playing pomp and circumstance. And then you meet somebody, right? Here's the other thing. I didn't even get into this part, right? Like, they tell you that you're more than likely going to meet the love of your life within like 10 miles of where you grew up, right? Or 10 miles of where you live. Same reason, like for the same thing, you find most accidents occur within X miles of the home. Well, I wonder why. How much time do you spend? If 90% of your time is spent within 5 miles of your house, then it goes without question that 90% of your accidents are going to happen where 90% of your time is. 200 graciously. She graduated from Burke? Phil went to Westside. I only went for a year and then went to Central. Only went for a year and then you started robbing banks for a living. Here's the deal. You and I went two very different pathways, but I'm jealous of your pathway. And here's why. Because you lived hard early. Hard. You lived hard, dude. You couldn't get out of your own way. Can relate. So this is not an admonishment of you. But you lived hard early. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like things are leveling out. Like you've got a lot of life figured out. And you tell me from outside in if I got that misconstrued. Whereas me, I just coasted and then I just failed upwardly. And now in my 40s, I'm learning all of the lessons that everyone else learned in their 20s. Just, I'm living hard now. Before high school, yeah, I get you. Christina married a coworker almost 17 years ago from the hometown. But how small is the town, Christina? You say hometown, which tells me it's small town. Oh, is that Chris? Why am I calling you Christina? Because you have your official name on Facebook. Chris. I wouldn't have it the other way. Not saying I don't experience trouble now, but I'm way smarter. Yeah, and I'm dumb. I'm dumb as hell. I say he dumb. He dumb as hell. I just was like, Fremont? Yeah. Fremont's a small town. A small town to me. Are you going to hit a light pole, dude? Whoa, I thought I was about to watch a head-on collision. I guess it's got to be dead center to be head-on. Just a front-end collision, I guess, at that point. I was being a little extra. How's that birthday treat you, huh? Did you have a good birthday? Fremont, yeah, that's small town to me. The Mont. God, when I was a kid, I thought Fremont was far away. Of course, I thought everything was far away because one time I asked my dad if we could go to a comic book store on Blondo. Now, keep in mind, we just grew up in La Vista, all right? Like 84th and just between Harrison and Giles, essentially. Is where I was at. So not as far south as even State Street is north. You know what I mean? Not on the south side of town. Not at the end of Papillion. I said, Dad, we got to go to Dragon's Lair. It was either Krypton or Dragon's Lair. I think it was Dragon's Lair. Dad, we got to go to Dragon's Lair. They've got my comic. You can't get this comic anywhere else. And this is back when you had to call places. You can't. It's no e-stock or anything like that. And I had been caught stealing at Star Realm in La Vista, so I wasn't allowed to go there again. Yeah, I'm not a good thief. Yeah, every time I've stolen something, I've gotten caught. Uh, but I go, Dad, they've got the comic. We've got to go get it. It goes, okay, well, where is it? I said, what's 82 something Blondo Street? It goes, Blondo? We're not going all the way up to Blondo. all the way up to Blondo. From Vista to 82nd and Blondo. Meanwhile, Crossroads is still the big mall then. You know what I mean? And as a kid, you have no frame of reference. So I thought Blondo, I don't know where I thought Blondo was. In my head now, for knowing what I would consider that big a deal to make the noise he made, okay? So just going on tone. In my head, Blondo is in Fort Calhoun. So not only is it super far north, but then it's also way out of the way to the east, right? To go from 84th and Harrison to 82nd, freaking 2 blocks east. But all those blocks north. I'm going to Blondo. It wasn't until I was like 20 and at a party on some crap hole apartment. Maybe I was maybe 18, I guess, because we didn't have a ride out there. Me and my buddy Dennis. And we ended up having to pass out at this party, which I found out I hate passing out in places that aren't my home. I'm such a mess. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. But we're up there and I hear the address and there's like Blondo. And I go, Blondo? This is like Crossroads is right there. They're like, yeah, that's how Blondo works. I go, no, you guys, you don't understand. My dad made it sound like, and they're like, we don't care. And they didn't. I don't even know if you care, but you don't have an option other than to turn this off. You're trapped. You're trapped. What are we going to do? We're going to read a new sponsorship. And then we're going to talk about something I shouldn't talk about on the radio because it makes me look like an idiot. But I don't care because that's funny to me. You know what I mean? If I want to look like an idiot, that's funny to me. But if I don't want to look like an idiot, then that's not funny to me any longer, you know? Does any of this make sense? Singing out in me, call me out.
Credit card and social security numbers. America's listening to Fox News.
Your news this hour is brought to you by Jenny Edmondson Foundation, seeking sponsors for their Medivan program, providing free transportation for over 3,000 patients. Become a Medivan sponsor at jehfoundation.org.
For Bluffs Country News, I'm Carla J.
Singing out, me, call me out. You gotta ride the lightning. Tyler, we got to get you in for some feature stuff, dude. I know I was supposed to get a hold of you about some other positions we have at the company. Just stay up my ass about that stuff, man, please. I'm so sorry. I've just got so much going on. I don't mean for other things like that to slip through the cracks, but man, I've already told them all about you. I would really love to see you over at this company. Hi. What's up with people running over poles lately? I don't know, man. I can't comment because I'm an awful driver. I'm coming to grips with that I'm an awful driver, but let me tell you this much. All right? In a NASCAR, we're all going to die. Sully Sullenberger, Denzel Washington from Flight. Less the drugs and alcohol anymore. In that regard, if we were in a situation where only one, it's Avengers Endgame, and I can't tell you how it's going to end, otherwise it won't end that way, right? If we're in the 1 in 14 million opportunity where everyone in this car is not going to live, you want me behind the wheel. I promise you. So when I say I'm the safest driver that has ever existed, I just mean that I'm going to get you there. No one is dying on my watch. You should see, like, for as bad as my driving record is and the amount of vehicles I've had damages to or wrecked or got into accidents with weather, okay? For every one of those, there's 10 times where I threaded the needle when some semi wasn't paying attention and it about crushed me in a Honda Civic, you know? But otherwise, I'm an awful driver. I'm going to hit things. Don't give me your car, ever. Don't loan me your car, ever. Ever. You think this is me just being jokey joke. Don't ever loan me your car. Ever. I'm where cars go to die. So if there's something that's about to fall off of your car, or there's an alternator that's about to stop working, or a belt that's going to snap, it's not going to snap for you, but it will snap the moment I have the keys to your vehicle. Oh, that window worked fine before? Not anymore. I'm awful. I got a lot of great qualities, but none of them involve vehicles other than the fact that you will get where we're going alive. Facts. You're going to be scared. I can't promise you're not going to have a heart attack reacting to it, but just grab the OS handle. No, we're not going to die. And up to this point, I've only been in one major accident that someone else was in the car with me. So that's it. I don't really have anywhere to go after that. Bradley graduated from AL. Sorry, I'm just catching up on comments, guys. Lots of laughs. We used to live near 79th and Fort, so driving to your guys' house for holidays and stuff felt like a trip. That's so you guys are so wild. 80th and Fort into La Vista. I was working at the Nifty, and it was like as far as the Nifty in Benson was as far away from La Vista as you could get without being like actually far away. You know what I mean? Just in like there was no. La Vista doesn't have a quick drop-off point for the interstate. The old man's house is all right because it's at least on the side of La Vista where it's more profitable to get off the interstate at Cabela's, you know, because that's technically La Vista. I'm trying to think when you lived in 79th and Fort. Which house was that? Were your parents still together then? Was that real early on? I remember the look of the inside of that house. The house I remember the most is post-divorce, where Phil destroyed all of my He-Man toys. God, Phil. I love you, Phil, but you broke my heart, man. You broke my heart. What is it, Fredo? He was my friend. Phil is my Fredo. This guy. Yeah, when we were kids? Okay, yeah. I love that my kids are immediately yelling at each other and they just woke up. I do too. I love that for both of us. Just drop them off at the studio to spend the day with Uncle Nelson. Yeah, the problem is you got to get him out here. Leah, you want to talk about Aaliyah's got a whole other issue of just bad luck with cars. She just keeps getting screwed. I screw myself. But you and I are probably equally screwed. It's just you can blame someone else. What are your thoughts on the baby left in the car? Is there one that happened? Is it baby left. Was it in Omaha? Oh no. Oh Lord. A 5-year-old boy found dead in a car on Wednesday in northwest Omaha. Officers responded to the area north of 93rd and Binney just after 5 p.m. for an unresponsive child. Omaha Police Lieutenant Neil Bonacci said the boy was in foster care and had been in the car for several hours. He was transported to the hospital by medics where he was pronounced dead. Officials said it's likely the death was heat-related, but the cause must be confirmed with an autopsy. The high temperature Wednesday was 89 degrees. Yeah, but inside a car. The investigation in the child's death remains ongoing. According to OPD, anyone with information regarding the incident has to submit an anonymous tip via Crime Stoppers. I need to reach out to them, start having Crime Stoppers in on the air. I don't know why I'm talking so soft. So softly. So soft and succinct. Just like that. Let's talk about this here. And let's do this here. Because I have a take. I have a take that's going to be interesting, I think, in that you won't see it coming. You might not even relate to it. I think it'll take you by surprise, but not to be flippantly shocking for shock's sake. I'm not a shock jock. But ultimately, we will align. I think that you will all align. You need to unalive improvs. I would not. I've kept my kids alive, and I love kids. I tell you that much. In this whole dating thing, there are, you guys, I open myself up to like craziness because of the stuff I'm about to talk to you about, because who knows who's watching this feed. I don't, certainly.
This is Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 106.5.
So part of the thing we do here on the morning show is we broadcast the morning show live as well on Facebook. Couple of channels you can access it there. Bluffs Country, ours, the radio stations. Facebook.com/Bluffs Country. Or through my personal channels. You can, if you're a YouTuber and not a Facebooker, then YouTube.com/That's Just Nelson. And the beautiful thing about it is, sometimes it's hard to get through on the phones. Sometimes, you're calling, you're going 712-713-2065. Do I even have the right number? So when it comes to the Facebook Live, we can get comments immediately. You can interact and really be an impactful member of the show in that regard. But Marcia on the cam, she asked, what was my thoughts on the baby, 5-year-old, but what were my thoughts on the baby that was left in the car? And I don't know if you saw this story. I completely missed this story, honestly. I'm getting caught up on it. But it's this from Channel 6 News. A 5-year-old boy was found dead after left in a car for several hours in Northwest Omaha. Now, listen, most of the time, the whole point of this show is to just kind of be light and give you an escape from just the rigmarole and all of the other nonsense, that you got to deal with in life. But every once in a while, it's good to shine a light on situations like this. Okay, there's not a lot of detail on the family that's involved, okay, other than that the child was a confirmed member of the foster system. Okay, but first and foremost, as we see stories like this, before we go to just immediately judge someone, let's step back and offer just a little bit of grace. Now, when I'm asked my opinion, like was on Facebook.com/Bluffs Country, the immediate thing I go to is I can understand how you would forget that your kid was in the car to a degree. I cannot understand getting out of a car while there is still a child in the car, asleep or otherwise. A child is going to make noise. Asleep, you still know that child is back there. But I noticed the other day, because I was in a rush and I was stressed out and my life had a lot of things going on at once, right? Some of them self-inflicted and just roadblocks I couldn't get out of my own way, right? But I had to take my children an hour away so that they could go stay with their grandparents on my ex-wife's side, Grammy and Poppy. And I had to do that quickly and then come right back to town because there was work I had to do for the radio station. And I got 30 minutes into the drive back from the small town in Iowa that I had to take them up to. And all of a sudden it hit me, oh my God, did I drop the kids off? So just because I was lost in there, I'm like now frantically searching my back seat. And now for the next 10 minutes, I'm turning every 10 seconds to look back there. So I guess what I'm saying is that you never know a circumstance that you're going to be left in that you weren't ready for and that your brain is already pulled in too many directions. No, it's never okay. It's unforgivable to let a child perish in a hot car. But can you not at least see a pathway, whether it would happen to you, how it could happen to someone else? I'm done with my soapbox.
All the best country music from yesterday.
That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think it was succinct. I feel like it was well thought out. I feel like a big theme for me in my life right now is fulfillment and grace. Fulfillment, grace, and gratitude, maybe even. Life is hard. You know what I mean? So, anywhere you can turn around and make it a little easier on yourself. I'll be dropping your truck off. Oh, that's going back to me killing cars. Yeah, do that. Angie and Phil both got in bad accidents. I've only had a couple fender benders that were my fault. I'll tear a car out. We live close to Bennington now, so we're getting ready to move again soon. Oh, nightmare. Yeah, that 79th Street house, I loved that house. I loved it when we would party up there, but I couldn't have told you it was at 79th and Fort. I had no concept of where that was then. And that makes me even more upset then that he was so bent out of shape about Blondo if his damn brother lived on Fort. Then your dad moved to Thomasville. I can't laugh though because my credit's so screwed. I can't even get an apartment at Thomasville. Freaking hate people, dude. How do you forget your kid in the car? Again, I don't know how you forget the kid in the car, but I can forget having. I could have easily seen me because Roman maybe was off in his own little world. I could have seen me going to their house, going inside, getting a bunch of stuff, coming back out into the car, and then leaving, thinking that would have left him at the house and that he would still be there. I couldn't get out of the car and not know my kid was still in the car. That's it would be impossible. I hope. I hope. And there again, I say I hope because I'm not in the situation. I would never want to be in the situation. I would hope I would never be in the situation. But on the off chance I could be in the situation, I'd rather know that someone else said, I could see how it would happen to him. Why did this not update like it was supposed to? That's all. Anyway, there was some kind of tea I was going to spill earlier, and now I don't remember what it was. I'm sleep deprived now, dude. I don't know how sleep deprived you are. You don't forget a kid. I don't know, man. That's all. I don't think I could leave again. I don't think I could leave my kid in a car. That I don't. I would hope not. But I could definitely see how you could forget you had your kid with you. Yeah, I have been clouded of the head and not of any kind of drug related or alcohol. You know what I mean? I've been clouded of the mind enough that I could see how that would happen. I just seen a lot from humanity. Not all of it great. Dad, Phil, and me lived at Thomasville at some point. I want to live at Thomasville so bad. But your father, I see, I get it when it comes to nonverbal kids, but it's so hard in my mind knowing my kids can't long enough to forget they exist. I get you. I get it. I get it. I just just give a little grace where you might not have before. And you don't have to give a lot, just try a little extra. Like if you gave no grace, let's say you gave 10% grace, right? Let's try 12% grace. Let's do baby steps. Baby steps. Be thankful that you've never been in a situation like that, or that you're adult enough that it would never happen to you. For that long, not remembering at any point. Yeah, agreed. I even could say I could see a pathway down. I can't see a pathway where you're not checking back after a couple hours. Like, and I've got like object permanent deletion. Like, I've got the ADHD, so I can completely. If it's not in front of my field of vision, I could convince myself it really doesn't exist. Like, I just load the rest of the world as I'm looking around, you know? That's me, though. What do I know? What do I know? Nothing. I'm just some schlub. I love Eddie Murphy. I don't know, like, what we've done to deserve the resurgence of Eddie Murphy, but God, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? No, man. I need to get this, like, we're streaming live and worked into some imaging. I'm sorry I'm not on the cam longer. Tell your friends it's on YouTube as well. I need to grow YouTube numbers. I just got to grow numbers, man. This is the year of numbers.
This is Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 1065.
I love that we're in the Eddie Murphy, like, renaissance. Is it just me, or is it like when, they say you get hit by a red convertible and now all you see is red convertibles everywhere? But ever since that new Beverly Hills Cop started just getting advertised, let alone actually being on Netflix, which it is, Axel F. I've just been seeing Eddie Murphy everywhere. Eddie. And I'm so here for it. It just feels like we were tragically robbed of Eddie Murphy for a long time, which I get it. The guy's got 10 kids, so he was going to be a dad and a dad and a dad and a dad. And he had plenty of money. He's making his little Shrek money, which, by the way, they just announced another Shrek that will include him and Mike Myers and not Christina Applegate, Cameron Diaz, her buddy. This little fast fact about Shrek before we continue to talk about Eddie Murphy and what comedian gave him a hard time coming up. Shrek was actually entirely voiced by Tommy Boy. Now, why can't I say his dang name? Now I've got Mike Myers' name stuck in my head. What the heck's Tommy Boy's name? That hurts. It was completely voiced by him. So, Chris Farley. Wow. You smell burning hair? Am I having a stroke? Chris Farley had done all of the lines for Shrek, and then he passed. And so they couldn't do any updates. And so Mike Myers came and took the role at that point. So imagine how sad that was for him. Eddie Murphy talking about getting a spin-off of that at this point. That's like the only character they haven't spun off. But the comedian that gave him the hardest time coming up, wouldn't you know it, Bill Cosby. I guess there was a rumor at one point that it was Richard Pryor that gave him a hard time early in his career. He said, no, Richard Pryor didn't give me a hard time. It was Bill Cosby gave me a hard time. Pryor, who died in 2005, a comedy legend, co-starred with Eddie Murphy in Harlem Nights, said there was a myth that the two of them didn't get along. But no, when it came to the comedy scene, Richard Pryor looked at him and said, Eddie Murphy was a reflection of Pryor. The kid's trying to be like me. So Pryor wasn't scared of him. Bill Cosby, though, he was known for being this clean, above-board comedian. Now, we all know what he was gone on to be accused of and then, I guess, exonerated of. I mean, he's been released from prison. I don't know if he's still civilly liable. But who's America's dad now? And that's, I wish I could take the quote. That's actually something Eddie said on Saturday Night Live. If you told me 30 years ago that I'd be this boring stay-at-home dad and Bill Cosby would be in jail, even I would have taken that bet. Who's America's dad now?
Bluffs Country can also be heard on 1420 AM.
Be ready for warm. Be ready for hot today. Be ready for super hot the next 3 days. Excessive heat watch. Yeah, you're going to be watching it. Little tip for you. The HVAC guys will tell you don't want to go more than 20 degrees colder than the hottest part of the day. I know that means 80. Sacrilege. But you want that AC to keep working. Help yourself. 91 for the high today. Mostly sunny. It's going to be humid. And no rain in the forecast for a few days. Currently 73 degrees. Let's look at your weather. It's brought to you by Marla Jenkins. Marla, she's a local independent insurance agent contracted with most major insurance companies in the area. Go to Medicare Marla, MARLA.com, to learn about all of the areas she can help you with. There's never a charge for help, so you visit MedicareMarla.com. Maybe do it today.
Fun takes flight at Blackbird Bend Casino. Hundreds of the latest and hottest slots in person.
Where are we at? Council Bluffs. That's where we are. That's where I am. All right, let's get caught up on comments. Sorry, everybody. I haven't been on comments. Shrink camp longer. I know. See, like, I can get it. See, the kids should camp with us sometime. Camp. Oh. I should take the kids camping, but I hate camping. How do I hang at the lake? Netflix and Beverly Hills. Axel, Beverly Hills. So funny. Yeah, I wish I was looking over at these comments. Farley. You ready for crease and crevice? What? That's no lie. Let me put you on to this. If no one's ever told you, you need to be putting deodorant. If you got the thunder thighs like me, you put deodorant on your thigh meat where it touches, and you will never have chub rub ever again. It's like a runner's secret, but they have like stuff that's like made for runners, and it's all just overpriced BS. I'm telling you, I'm fat, and I get chafe. Chafe.com. Chafe.chafe. And what you do is you just put it on the meatiest part of your thighs. And then those babies just glide. They glide. I do Old Spice. I also think that my body proves the point that bras are destroying women's bodies. Oh, you need me to elaborate? They say that because you wear a bra that you're then training them to sag, right? Because you're taking some of the effort. Your body is never developing the ability or the need to keep them up. And I am very heavy. I've been heavy my whole life. And when I tell you I have the perkiest C cup you've ever seen, you can take that one all the way to the bank. There was some dating tea I was going to spill on you guys, and I don't remember what it is now. What was it? If you can remember where I was ramping up to about 20 minutes ago. Humidities. I don't really care for the word like titties. Tit is all right, but like I don't really care for the word, right? But anytime I hear the word, I always think of that meme that's like poorly drawn. It's like, calm your tits. And then they're like balloons. Do you know what I'm talking about? I could probably pull the meme up. Meme up? Memo technology? Memo. I can't talk and text. Sorry. I've been getting more and more acclimated to Cash App. I gotta say, I kind of like it. I like it better than Venmo. I like the Cash App better than Venmo. Did we find the? Yeah, Aaliyah knows the meme I'm talking about. There's four. Is it just the four of us? Just the four of us. We can make if I try. Gotta let people know. I haven't streamed on my YouTube channel before until now, so. Oh, I just hate that this screen is not bigger. But I can't bring in all of my equipment into the studio every day and take all of my equipment out of the studio every day. I'm only one man. Calm your tits meme. I don't even like saying the word. And I speak crassly, but I don't speak sexually crassly, I don't think. I say the F word a lot. Oh, yeah. Come on. Calm your tits. No. What? That's so funny to me. I don't know why it's so funny. It just is so. It is. Is it peak comedy? Almost. I love that. They make my everything angry, but now I don't have a choice. The bras are overrated. They make my lungs angry. I'm just saying. But a bra is necessary because you started with a bra. That's what I'm telling you. Like free them. Free them from the beginning. I say that, but there is someone in my life that recently I found out because I hadn't seen them for a couple of weeks at a time that it is time that they need to be in equipment always. I wasn't ready for that at 10, okay? And that's all I'll say about that because that's really all that's fair. You know, you wouldn't want someone else talking about like personal stuff like that about you. There will be a time as the kids get older, I'm gonna talk less and less about them. I'm not gonna be sharing as much about the kids because I just can't. That's not fair to them. When they're cute little kids and it's just little cute kid things, that's one thing. But you know, if I'm going to teach them about autonomy, I have to, I don't know, show that I recognize theirs. Consent is key, you know? I need my bra. I got them lopsideds. You let that one. You had to switch them around. You're supposed to go back and forth. My dad, I asked him if we were breastfed because we were getting ready to have kids. And so obviously my ex-wife wanted to breastfeed, which I was fully supported. I fully supported just because we're already paying to feed you. You know what I mean? Let's just buy the one meal and turn it and that's buy one, get one. It's what they should build breastfeeding as is BOGO. Mom eats a sandwich and somehow it turns into 3 days worth of baby food. So I'm for that. I said, Dad, were we breastfed? And that man did not skip a beat when he said, nah, your mom didn't want anybody sucking on them titties but me. I love my dad because I can make him laugh. I know all the raunchy stuff that he laughs at, but sometimes it's funny. Like if you're ever several people there's only like 3 of us watching right now, so 66% of this cam is related to me. But Aaliyah, if you're ever afforded the ability to, or if you're watching this after it was live, if you're ever afforded the ability to come hang out and see me around my dad, look for this. because I get charged up when I see other people laughing, and I know how to make my dad and my uncle laugh. By my uncle, obviously, I mean for two of you, your dad, but I know how to get them going, and then I know how to play them against each other because once one starts laughing, it makes the other one laugh harder, and so it's just like it's like rolling downhill, becomes a boulder, right? And so there's a moment when he really starts laughing at something that halfway through the laugh he'll stop and he'll realize, oh, that's my kid that's saying that, and he'll get like some type of way briefly, but then I'll say something else messed up, he'll start laughing again. Or your dad will make this face. He goes, I make this face because of your dad. I stole it from your dad. It's like, but it's like his teeth are more out. Dale. Oh, Dale. Yeah, both of them had to have like a hellion for a first kid, though, huh? We're going to talk about flashbacks here. A flashback I had. We're going to the lake after work today. Who is that? How is that not? Your Facebook's not showing up. Is that you, Marsh? No.
You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? Still gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.
This is Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 1065.
If you're looking for another way to interact with your favorite radio station, assuming a little bit here, you can do so at facebook.com/bluffscountry. Maybe like YouTube, youtube.com/that's just Nelson. That's how you can find me on social media as well. Doing it all from the Gorilla Car Wash Studios, and we are live at facebook.com/bluffscountry. You ever have like flashbacks to something that happened to you when you were like younger? Like you're in the moment now as an adult, and that's like boom, you're instantly transported back to a moment. Usually shame. Yeah, it's not. Nobody's flashing back to good stuff. You know, there's got to be some kind of positive PTSD, post traumatic stress. All right, so post traumatic positivity. There's got to be one time where you're just like smacked in the face with like, oh, you remember that? And you just start laughing, right? It's never that. No, it's always some kind of point of shame. That happened for me yesterday. Okay. I shouldn't even tell you this. All right. Because in addition to being Nelson in the Morning, okay, I'm a member of the management team of this organization. Just laugh at that for a second. So, as a part of that, it's up to me to set the standard for some certain things. And so we collectively with my lovely boss. Thank God for my boss, Julie. Oh my God, thank God for her. That's not me just kissing right now. That's like she's known me almost my entire career, so she's looking out for me, right? She's like, all right, knucklehead, let's turn you into a serious employee for the first time in 20 years of your career. So I'm setting these new standards for, part-time staff. There's something that everyone has to adhere to. And no one it's just been something that hasn't been done uniformly. So leading up to this, I'm speaking with my boss. I'm like, you know what? This is how it's going to be. I'm going to be tough, but I'm going to be firm, and I'm going to lay the law down. And when these people are done after the meeting, they're going to know that Nelson means business. Ding. I had my first attempt at this yesterday. Love this kid. Good kid, hardworking, wants to be a big part of the company. Loving that, right? A little driven like that. But I haven't had a whole lot of interactions with him other than him setting up like the stuff you'll see him with Peggy every week at the farmer's market. And stud, right? Takes direction very well. But I come in trying to I don't know, assert dominant. I don't know how to be a man, all right? So I'm learning on the job, literally. And halfway through it, I started I went halfway buddy. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't be the tough guy. I tried to be tough guy, I couldn't be tough guy. And that's where the flashback comes in for me, because the only other time I've been in a management position, I was 21. I should not have been promoted, but I was promoted to store manager of a Midas in Omaha. It's not even a Midas location there anymore. Still love that whole organization. I've got some really great stories about that I want to get into eventually here as we grow together. But I was the manager. Midas on military. This is Nelson. What's up? And I had a guy who was a bad employee. It happens. You get bad employees, right? So I had to fire him. Most people, easy. You're a bad employee. This is why you're a bad employee. We tried to make you a not bad employee. You got to go, bud. Go. It took me half an hour to do a 5-minute firing, and I apologized to him at the end of it. Okay. So yesterday, as I tried to be tough guy, I almost wanted to hug this kid before he left. So he knew, listen, I'm not mad at you. I just need it to be done right. Oh, I thought I was going to be so tough. I thought I was going to be so tough. I still surprise myself in what I can hype myself up to a point. Talk about another flashback. I never lived this down. We at Froggy in Lincoln did this. We did this competition. Why were we even doing it? Must have been the Olympics. You know what I mean? It was like an Olympic qualifying round. So it's like 2012 or whenever a Summer Olympics lined up, and it was still Gary, Nelson, and Kelly. Which people used to think it was Gary Nelson, one person, and Kelly, and then there was just some other guy that just randomly was on the show. It took me a long time to get over like the ego of certain things in radio. I think I'm a lot more humble than I've ever been, while still being an egomaniac. Go figure. The most humble, they would say. But I think it was Olympics, and so we said we'll have a diving competition for the show. We're gonna have a diving competition, and we went to some local pool in Lincoln, and they have a 10-foot diving board. Now, I knew I wasn't going to go head first, right? Like, it took me into my late 30s even to try doing the thing where you fall forward into a pool, because I grew up fat. So there was not a lot of tumbling that I did. We did some really weird, I don't know how I could convince myself to do it, but when I was in high school, it's ADHD side note, we had access to the track gym mats during track season. And so we would climb up ladders and do WWF at the time, moves on each other. And that never bothered me. But as a 32-year-old man, I said, yeah, let's have a diving competition, thinking I'll just jump off the end, cannonball, be fine, right? Be funny. Well, I'm so fat, and I don't go out on diving boards. I got up there, and I'm scared of heights. And so I knew I couldn't climb back down. I knew I was going to have to go. But the problem is, if you've never been fat and on a diving boards have a lot of give. And when you're fat, you don't step on things that have give, because you don't know when give gonna give out. So I tried to get out to the edge. There was not a chance. And there wasn't a chance that I'd be able to run fast enough, because that's the other thing. Once you get onto a diving board and you're out of rhythm and you're trying to run on it, you're going to trip. So I never lived this down. But I told myself, I was like, yeah, this is not going to be even a problem. Knowing I'm scared of heights, I'm like, I'm just going to man up and walk through this. Get to the top of the ladder. Immediately, I want to cry. 10 feet. I go to the very edge. The way a diving board works, if you've never been out on one, you've seen it, I'm sure. They've got the railing. Up to the railing, underneath is also the rest of that structure. So everything up to the railing is solid, because you've got like a crossbar underneath it. That's what it's going to that's what it's going to bounce up and down off of. I went to the edge. I got to the railing, and just where the board starts to give, that's when I just hopped like a pencil straight down into the water. And I don't ever get credit from those sons of guns for going in the water. I did it from 10 feet. I was scared. I was, because I thought I was going to snap the diving board. Imagine that. Gary wasn't jumping in to save me if I snapped the diving board in half. Now, as I'm falling, the diving board's got a jagged edge that's cutting me into the back of the skull. And I'm quadriplegic and 350 pounds. Great. Great. I never lived it down, though. To this day, I still am carrying it with me. Is anyone even still here? Yeah. Oh, yeah. For some reason, it was like it said your name was Facebook user for a second. I don't know. Yes. I mean, when I listen to old music, I have positive flashbacks. That's fair. I think that's a little different, but I'll take that. Same neighborhood. It's a fair point. See how I just dismissed you, and then I took an extra second. I said, you know what? Maybe Ange has got something figured out. Maybe Ange isn't the knucklehead that everyone said she is. I've always been on your side, Ange. It's Marcia. She's the one. I am. I don't leave until you make me, or I get a phone call. I love you, Angela. You're wonderful. You're a good mom. You know that? Now this is just Nelson family, just like all talking to each other in love. It's love fest. Yeah, we're going to start doing it longer. I'm going to get the cams going earlier, and I'm going to try and keep it going until 9 o'clock. It's just better. It's the way we're going to grow it. It's the way I'm going to be able to justify me spending money out of my pocket to have it. What's the video quality? Because I was concerned with that, to what the broadcast looks like, because you have to pay even more to get the 1080p. But I don't think you need 1080 streaming broadcast, do you? Most people are consuming this either on a laptop at best and biggest. A laptop, the screen's going to look good enough, I feel like. I got to go back and watch it. There's so much to do. Like, I need more lists. I think I helped a coworker unlock the fact that they were also ADHD yesterday. I don't want to give away too many details. It's not my business to share. So I use they, them. You can too. Notice how I just did that? Listen, this is an echo chamber. You guys are all on my side anyway. But just know that if I'm talking to you and you think that we're all thinking alike, there's also people that watch this later. So anyone who's jumping in late on this one and you need to hear this because Jesus put you in the right place right here to hear this, I was just describing a coworker of mine, a coworker who shall remain genderless, not because they want to remain genderless, because then that makes it a little more difficult for you to ascertain maybe who I'm talking about. I was talking about one person, and I said they had an issue. So the next time somebody goes, how can you be a they, them? Because that's too many people. You know that all words are made up, right? That's it. You can click out of the video if you haven't already. You know what I mean? If this is in the future. See how nobody got hurt? See how you didn't become any richer or poorer? I didn't. I don't think. I haven't looked at the stock market. Nothing crashed. But I certainly identified a human being with generic verbiage. It's a language, man. Use all of it. Like, really get in there. You know, like you is a pronoun, right? I don't have pronouns. Yeah, everybody does. That's how English works. It's literally how English works. Same as usual. They, them is so not too many people coming from a they, them. So, I mean, I understand the argument that they're making because initially you most of the time are referring to people in the plural when you say they, them. You are. And I get that. I will validate your reasoning for being wrong. That I will do. But now it's also on you, as in all things, to come to our side. Not that there's an us versus them. I'm not on anyone's side. I don't need any of this nonsense. All I'm here for is some just honesty. But if you're going to ask us to understand that which we don't think is right, maybe you should try and understand which we think is right that you don't think is right. And maybe one of us or both of us are wrong. I don't know. Heaven forbid we all treat each other like humans.
Is Nelson in the morning on Bluffs Country 1065.
Remember, as we head into the weekend, hot. Hot is the name of the game. You got animals? Keep them inside. Even if they're hunting dogs. I don't know what the rules are. Just bring the dang dog inside. One time, then maybe your dog won't eat my rabbit. Growing up, my neighbors had hunting dogs, right? So this is why I'm bitter. And I had a rabbit. I didn't have a rabbit. My dad had it. I just got it for a birthday present. My dad had to take care of it. And so the dog did what hunting dogs do. It saw a prey animal and it attacked. It jumped the fence and it hurt the rabbit. The rabbit was put down. It was sad, but it happened, right? You learn. But I guess as a kid from then on, as we would drive up the street, my dad said I would look out the window. And when I would see Buddy, that was the dog's name, my eyes would squint and I would whisper almost to myself, killer. So stupid. So stupid, the stuff that kids hold on to. My name is Nelson. It's Nelson in the morning. It's going to be hot. That's really what I'm getting at. Next couple of days, 100-degree temps. If the last couple of days was any indicator for us, the highs were only supposed to be in the upper 80s. I was going to say the late 80s. It was supposed to be in the upper 80s. And it crested into the 90s. So finally, they're saying, oh, yeah, low 90s. So you know that's going to be mid 90s, super humid, no rain to come in and tamp any of it down. So I'm no weatherologist, but I know that means it's going to feel like it's closer to 100 degrees today. So with 101 as the recorded or at least assumed high temp for tomorrow, 102 for Sunday, 99 for Monday. So you feel like you're getting a deal, right? It's not $2, it's $1.99. 99 for Monday. Just excessive heat throughout all the weekend. Stay hydrated. If you know somebody working outside, maybe put a little extra in their lunch. Or you put a little cute note for them. When I was referencing stuff about being a kid, this is my favorite time of the show. Not because it's the end. That would be the easy, like, yuck joke. It's clock out time, so that's why it's my favorite. No, this is my favorite part of the show because I close the show every day with a message of encouragement that used to only be from my daughter. Now, both recorded years apart, but when they were both 7, I've included my son, Relman. For those of us that were born in the 80s and kind of watched TV in the late 80s, early 90s, if I ever had a production company and I made TV shows, this would be my sit, Ubu, sit. Remember that one? Good dog.
I'm Penny Nelson. My name is Rowan Nelson. Thank you for listening to the show. Thanks for listening to the show. Have a good day and have an awesome day. I love you.
Loves.
I love that. That makes my heart so happy. Cool. Not poop. No poop. Did my mouse shut off? You ran out of power already? That's bull. It's because it's got weird lights in it. I don't need lights. I don't need weird lights. I need mouse. Whatever. I love that. Let's play it again. Sometimes I just listen to it. Let's play it again, and then I'm going to shut the cam down because it's time to go. I got work to do. But here we go. Cam exclusive. Penny and Roman. Then we're done.
I'm Penny Nelson. My name is Rowan Nelson. Thank you for listening to the show. Thanks for listening to the show. Have a good day and have an awesome day.